Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining the session today. I'm actually now in the Facebook Live. So, again, this is Sakif Hassan. I'm the Young Physician Secretary from the Bangladesh Medical Association of North America. I would like to invite you for this session today for the discussion. We are actually arranging a couple of sessions targeting our residency interviews skills. And this is our second session. Our first session was about the ERAS application, and it was done 2 weeks ago by Dr. Farzana Haq. The session of that recording is also available in our website. If anyone would like to get the recording, you can always access to our BMNA website and then also in the Facebook, and you can get that video. Today's session will be about the interview skill, and then Dr. Farzana Haq, actually, she is a tremendous and excellent lecturer. She agreed to give us this talk today. She is an MD, MRCP, and FRCP, and FSCP. She's an associate professor of medicine in the St. Louis University Hospital. She's also the president of the St. Louis chapter in Society of Hospital Medicine. And she is a great speaker and educator, as I said before. She agreed to spend her valuable time on this Labor Day weekend with us and then give us this excellent talk. So without any further delay, I'd like to transfer the session to Dr. Farzana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hassan. It's always a privilege and honor to join any BMNA sessions, and I truly enjoy to have this opportunity to engage and to share my knowledge with this bright young generation of physicians. So today, this session, the main goal will be to win your residency interviews. And you know that almost 100% of the program, they will do virtual interviews. This is now the rule and expectation. So the question is how to rock and how to stand out during your virtual residency interviews. So in this session, I will share with you some tips and techniques that you can apply very easily to look and sound confident. And then I will share with you some important features of Zoom that you can adjust, and that will also help you to suppress the noise, look polished. And then we will focus on the take-home points. I will make sure that we have enough time after this session so that we can interact with each other and we are able to address your questions. So let's see what will be the outline of this session. First, we will know the tips, how to excel your virtual interviews. That being said, how to adjust the focus, because as being the interviewer for last 6 years, I see that when we transition to this virtual interview, this is now like the 3rd year, it's not always very easy for the applicants. And truth being said, interviewer always struggle to have that, how to find that focus as well. So I will share with you the tips and techniques which I have learned over this last couple of years. And then, how to adjust your lighting, what are the reasonable postures, particularly in US culture, because, there is a lot of cultural difference between our back home in Bangladesh, India, and then in the US and Canada. Then how to, dress up, how to look polished, how to organize your background. So first, as this is a virtual interview, so technology is your friend. So at least for this next 3 to 4 months, get the fastest connection you can afford. I can share with you when I was residency candidates, maybe it was not very easy for me to get that fastest connection, to get that very up-to-date phone and laptop because of the financial issues. However, during this interview time, technology is your friend. So make sure you have the fastest internet connection, at least during this interview season. When you are doing this interview, turn off other devices if you have particularly slow connection. Keep your phone silent. However, keep it aside because from my personal experience, technology give really hard time. So if this is the issue, the program knows that this is not always in their head or in your head. So if there is any technological issue, if you are keeping your phone aside, definitely in silent mode, the program administrator can reach out, and then maybe if there is any issue with the network, the rest of the interview can be through the phone. So make sure you are having your phone closed, but in the silent mode. So then we will focus on how to truly find the right focus so that you are able to easily seen by the interviewer. The number one tips I would like to share with you, I know that whenever we are anywhere, phone is our friend. However, during this virtual interview, please stay away from cell phone. You must, I cannot emphasize enough, you must use your laptop for your virtual interviews. If you have to use phone, maybe you are traveling, there is some challenges appear, please make sure you are having this kind of handle during your virtual interviews. Because if the phone you are holding all the time, imagine if I'm holding this phone and talking to you, my attention is on the phone and your attention is coming to the phone as well. During your interview, you do not want that. So then take a look at the second picture. Whenever you are doing your interview, if the camera is a downside, the chance is that the interviewer or person at other side will be able to see the nostrils. This is not very flattering image. So make sure you are having the perfect focus of your camera. So then how to do that perfect focus? So you should be center of the screen. And here one point I would like to emphasize, that this arrow is showing that there should be some difference between the top of the screen and your head. So imagine you are at the center and there is a space between the top of the screen and your head. That will guide you to have the perfect focus during your virtual interviews. So key point, please use your laptop and make sure the camera position is right, not very low, then people will be able to see nostril, and not very high as well. Then what happened? It looks double chin in the camera. So then focus on the surroundings. Please make sure to find quiet place. If you have a big family, maybe a very small space, make sure at least during that time you are telling your family members, your roommate that, okay, this time I need quiet time. Please make sure not to have any noise. Always have a pen and paper, because if the interviewer may be sharing some important points with you, maybe you were talking about your hobbies. If you write it down quickly, definitely not spending so much time, then you can utilize that point to send a personalized thank you letter to the interviewer. And in this way, truly, you are becoming more memorable to that interviewer through that personalized thank you notes. And make sure to turn off your TV, washing machine, blender during that time so that the surrounding is quiet. Then let's focus on lighting. When you are doing interview, for example, imagine yourself, you are the interviewer, or you are talking with a person virtually. How would you feel if that person on other side is in this dark shadow? So make sure when you are doing the interview, you are not in front of big windows, because if the light is at backside, it is putting shadow on your face. you do not want that during your interview. So tips, avoid big window behind you. So windows or any light source must be in front, not behind. Then if the lighting is only on the top, what happened? It is also putting the shadow on your face. For example, if you are only having the light source on the top, the image that will come in the camera could be look like the second picture. Another tips, always avoid yellow light, because in camera, yellow light can give that jaundiced appearance, does not look very flattering. So always avoid yellow light, particularly during your virtual interviews. So then what is the right way to have the lighting during your interview? Because lighting, if the proper lighting can truly make you to stand out because you look so bright, vibrant, and if the poor lighting is there, truly it can break the image. And remember, human being, we make the decision, we make the assumption, unfortunately, within 7 seconds. So lighting is very important. So lighting should be first white color, not yellow, and it should be behind, and make sure that your lighting source is a little bit higher than you. You can purchase ring light. Now the price is much lower than before. So you can purchase that ring light. So if you are adjusting, make sure it's in front as well as a little bit higher than your face. What about if you do not have ring light? There is a solution for that as well. You can use any LED table lamp because LED lights are white if you do not have any ring light. Rule of thumb, lighting is very important. Make sure you have proper lighting for your interview. Then we will move toward posture and gestures. Our surrounding, our computer, our lighting, those are important. What about our posture? How we are presenting ourselves can truly make a big difference in front of interviewers. So I would like to share one of the tips that I have learned when I talked with a journalist during my TV interview preparation. So she told me that the news anchors always sit little bit forward on the chair. So rather than completely going to backward, just come little bit forward. It will help you to keep your posture straight. So follow this rule, which are commonly used by any news anchor. This is sometimes could be our common practice that pointing fingers when we are talking, because if in the camera, if somebody is pointing finger, that can come across very rude, and sometimes feel like it's the gesture of poking in the eye. So if you are using your hand, make sure you are not pointing finger toward the interviewer. Particularly in the North American culture, pointing finger could be perceived as very harsh and rude gesture. Do not completely lean back, because it gives the sign that you are extremely relaxed and not that much taking this interview very seriously. Remember, there is a fine line between the confidence as well as arrogance. You want to look confident, you want to look relaxed, but not too much relaxed. So then we will move toward the eye contact. Imagine this is the person whom you are talking, and this person is like always looking down. Truly, I was watching a YouTube video, one of the physician interview, and the whole time the physician was like that. After watching maybe 1 minute, I changed the video, because this is not interacting. People do not like that, particularly in US culture. If there is no eye contact, people feel that this person is not confident, and most importantly is trying to hide something. So make sure you are having good eye contact. However, doing the eye contact through the camera is not always very easy, because I know that maybe we are doing this virtual, this Zoom world for almost last 3 years, but still you will see that none of us, including me, has mastered this skill. So the teaching point will be when you are doing the interview, look directly at the camera. So camera, you can perceive that, okay, this is the person. You should always look straight in the camera. When you are doing the virtual interview, avoid looking at your own image on the screen, because this is extremely distracting, and the interviewer even able to notice that, okay, you are not focusing on them rather than focusing on something else. So treat your camera as a person. Always look directly at camera. And what I did, particularly when I first started all this like virtual interview, virtual lecture, I put very small sticker around the camera of my laptop that smile. So that will encourage you to look at the camera as well as a smile. So treat your camera as a person. Then the next important point I would like to highlight, that dress for success. Particularly during the interview, you want to look dressed up. You want to look very polished. If you are doing your professional business, it gives the signal that you give respect as well as you deserve respect, which is very important. And always use solid color. And here I would like to share that according to the news anchors, according to the journalist evaluation, blue is the most photogenic color. That's why you will see that when there is any big interviews, if you notice it, that political leaders, they use blue color, because blue is not only most photogenic color, blue also is the color of trust. That's not, I'm telling that, okay, all the time use blue. However, consider blue when you are doing any high stake, particularly virtual interviews. If somebody is wearing these big prints or a stripe, in the camera, it can look very hazy, because what happened in the camera, it can move and truly it can make the other people very much dizzy. So say no to big stripe, silk, because this is very shiny, as well as big prints, because it can move and the other person from the other side, like the interviewer, can have the perception of having this dizziness. So makeup and accessories, it may sound very simple. However, if we do not follow some key rules, that can truly destroy the reputation. So in makeup, particularly for female candidates, less is more. If you are using any makeup, please keep it minimum. Any accessory, jewelry, keep it very, very minimum. Doesn't mean that you cannot wear, however, minimum. And one point I would like to emphasize, particularly for female candidates, that during this virtual interview, if you want to wear lipsticks, that's completely fine. However, avoid lip gloss, because of the same principle. Anything glossy look very much distracting in this Zoom or in this team. But those who have very oily, shiny skin like me, make sure you are having tissue nearby during your interview, definitely outside of the camera focus, so that you can take away the excess oil, because if there is oil on the face, again, it looks very, very shiny in front of camera. If you are wearing any eyeglass, I saw this thing happened last year when I was taking interview of a person who was wearing eyeglass, And it was so shiny that, it was so much reflecting, and that became so much distracting. If you are wearing eyeglass, that is completely fine. Make sure you are having anti-reflective coat so that it's not, reflecting in front of camera. A smile, because truly you are on camera. A smiling is something that give people a friendly vibe. Interviewer also feel more encouraged to ask you question, definitely minimally as well as situation context. For example, if an interviewer is asking a question about red flag or weakness, or any maybe, any like fail in any steps, that time definitely nobody expect that interviewee to smile. However, for other situation, like when you are talking about why this program, what are your strengths, having gentle smile truly make you beautiful, because a smile is the best makeup, and also gives the impression that you are approachable and you are a friendly person. Who does not want to work with a friendly person? So then background, you have your perfect focus, you have your laptop, you are completely polished, you have your perfect color suit. Then what about background? Because they are able to see a great part of your background as well. And do not leave this background by accident, because by knowing how to organize your background, you can increase your credibility. Think about, if you see the background like this, what will be your impression about that candidate? You can always keep bookshelf. This is always classic. You can put some, medicine book. If you are a person who love to read novels, you can put that as well. I know that one of my colleague told me that when he was taking an interview of a candidate, then there was a novel book in that shelf, and their conversation at some point went about that book. If you want to do that, feel free to have some books as well. That is always classic. It gives signal that you are a reader, loves to read, and very much passionate about gathering knowledge. You can highlight your awards. That is completely reasonable. Here, one important point I would like to highlight about family pictures. If you have a family, truly this is a blessing in life. So now question is, should you highlight your family picture in the background during your virtual interviews? Ultimately, this is your choice, absolutely personal decision. However, one point I would highlight, that for male candidates, when there is family picture, they are perceived as, family person, very caring. In contrast, when there is family picture for female candidates, sometimes they could be perceived that, okay, they are very much focused on their family and not very much motivated or concentrated on their career. So ultimately, this is your choice. At the same time, I wanted you to be aware about this people perception, the difference between the male and female candidates. When you are sitting, when you are choosing your place for interview, and I will highly recommend you to choose a place for your interview season, because you spend so much time, money to get the interview, right? And you are optimistic that at least you will get a couple of interviews. So have a place in mind that, okay, what is the place where you will sit for all of your interview? And make sure when you are choosing that place is not very much close to door. You may have heard about this study that when physicians were sitting close to the door, the patients perceived that they are in hurry. They are always rushing and not very much focused about patient. Truly, I believe this rule also apply to the virtual interview. So if the door is very nearby, make sure you are coming across from the door because it can give signal that you are in hurry. And also sometimes very distracting as well because people may come, there may be some noises. So you may ask that what about virtual background? If you have so many things at your back side, would you use virtual background or not? I will advise you not to use virtual background unless you have green screen, which very, very few people have because we are not media professionals. Because the hazard of virtual background is that, the faces come and go. This is very, very distracting. And you do not want that distraction during your interview, right? Look at this picture. This virtual background sometimes could be very, very distracting. So I will advise you stay away from virtual background and decorate your background maybe with some bookshelf, with your certificate, with your awards. When you are doing this interview, avoid very bulky headphones because first, it does not look good. We need to look good as well during the interview. Second, it is very distracting. We are not giving any commentary. So if you're using headphone, use a small headphone. So some key points, how to end your interview. Remember, there is an effect called serial effect. That being said, that human being mostly remember first and last thing of anything. This could be applicable for drama. This could be applicable for any movie as well as for interview. You want to end your interview with a strong and positive impression because that end of the interview impression will help your interviewer to fill out that evaluation. Mostly that part they will remember. So what to do to leave a positive impression? So end your interview with genuine smile and absolutely always say thank you to your interviewer because no interviewer get any financial compensation for interviewing any candidates. They are giving this time completely voluntarily from their busy schedule. So show them a genuine appreciation with a genuine smile. Most importantly, make sure you are leaving with positive impression. So I would like to share 2 Zoom settings that I found personally very helpful when 3 years ago, I first started to do all this, virtual interview and I started to take interviews for residency program. If you go to the Zoom in the setting, then you will find the audio. Make sure you are pressing the button for suppress background noise. It will be helpful to make sure that the interviewer is getting clear sound from your side. And there is another setting for Zoom for polished look. Same thing, you can go to the setting and then you can adjust the light. You can adjust that, okay, what is the complexion you want to show them. That is always helpful. I know that if I do that, I will not look like Miss World instantly. However, that will definitely help to brighten up a little bit. And remember, less thing can sometimes make a big difference. So I would like to end this talk with a couple of key points, and then we will make sure that we are knowing what is your experience input, as well as we will be happy to address your questions. So first, proper use of lighting can do the charm. Always make sure you are having white light, not yellow light. Treat your camera as a person for proper eye contact. I know that may be very easy to say, but sometimes very easy to forget. Make sure you are looking at the camera directly because that will be seen by your interviewer that you are looking directly at them. Thirdly, sit little bit forward from the chair rather than completely leaning backward like the news anchors. Do not interrupt the interviewer, because it's sometimes very easy, because there could be some network issue, and in the virtual way we are not seeing their facial expression all the time, so it can come across that both people are talking at the same time. If you are talking at the same time with them, please make sure you stop and let them speak, and after they are done, then talk. The goal of this interview is to give them the message that, okay, you are a great team member. You are able to work with people, you respect people. So make sure you are not interrupting the interviewer. Keep your phone in silent mode. However, keep it close, because nobody can guarantee what will be the network, what will be the situation. Could be from your side, their side. And at some point, they may need to reach out through phone, or you may need your phone. So keep it aside, however, in silent mode. If there is some issue with the network, if you are not able to hear your interviewer or person at other side, you can use the chat feature and let them know that you are not able to hear them, so that you are not freaking out, but taking the instant decision that, okay, in this situation, how to make sure that we are having proper communication. So I would like to end my talk with the best wishes to you, and thank you again to Dr. Hassan, Dr. Mahmood, and Bamna for inviting me. And now I will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you, Dr. Farzana. Thank you for this excellent discussion. So we'd like to open the session for any question. If you have any question, please feel free to unmute yourself, or you can also raise your hand. Mr. Ilyas, Mohammed Ilyas, can unmute yourself.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Farzana, to give us an excellent talk. We didn't have any clue how the lights and settings, a lot of things we learned from it, especially me, that I never heard of it. So thank you very much. I actually have a questions regarding the letter of recommendations, not so much for the interview. For example, if I am giving a letter of recommendation, program director and assistant program director for the same program I am applying, should I give a different letter rather than using their letter, because they are the one who gonna see my application as well? I'm not sure that my question is clear to you.
First of all, thank you so much for joining, as well as your kind words. I'm glad that you found this information useful. Truly, that make this time and talk useful. So regarding your question, I want to make sure that I got it right. Your question is that you got the LOR from program director and associate program director, and you are applying to the same program where you got these letters. Did I get it right?
Yes, absolutely right.
Oh, thank you for clarifying. I believe that's very reasonable for two things. First, nobody can deny their own work. If they're recommending you, that means they like you. And this is a great opportunity to remind them. So I would definitely include that letter. And for other programs as well, for program director, associate program director, definitely they hold a special credibility that will also boost up your application. So I will also recommend to use the letter for other programs as well, along with that program.
I have a follow-up questions regarding the LOR again. For example, I'm applying radiology this cycle. I have 3 radiologists who wrote letter of recommendation, including 2 of the program director where I did my electives. Now, I went to a few open houses. They recommend not to use 3 letter from the radiologist. What is your opinion in that case?
Can you please share with us, because I'm very much curious, what was their rationale not to use 3 letters from the radiologist?
They didn't give us the rationale.
Mhm.
What they said, you want to get a letter from a person who know you the most. The radiologist you work for maybe observe you for a few days or a month. They might not know you very much. So you want to get someone who observe you, who know you better, or even different specialty, so we can have a better sense how you do in other places as well. That was a rationale, but I didn't quite get the full rationale of it.
Got it. I'm not very much convinced about this idea. Absolutely, this is personal choice. However, if I'm at the candidate situation, if some physician is giving me a letter, that means they know me, they trust me, and that's why they are giving the letter. And if I'm applying to that particular specialty and I have the letter from that specific specialty 3 letter, personally I would submit those, because that gives first thing that okay, I'm motivated, that's why I have 3 letters. And third thing is that I have spent so much time to learn and to work on that particular specialty. So, in a nutshell, I believe that will increase the credibility and shows the dedication. Because people know, particularly for IMG, that okay, we apply for multiple specialty because we want to maximize our chance. At the same time, if I'm the program director and if somebody is trying to apply to my program and only 1 letter is from that specialty and 2 letter is from other specialty, so what is the message I'm getting? I'm getting that message that, okay, this person is not focused. This person is all over the place and randomly applying, and they're just taking the chance. In contrast, if I have another candidate who will give me 3 letters from my specialty, I would offer the interview to that person rather than other person who is giving me different letter. That is my personal input.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Dr. Saya, you can unmute.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Farzana Haq, ma'am, for such an informative session. We really found it very extremely useful for us. And you mentioned a lot of points that honestly we wouldn't have thought if you didn't mention it like that. So thank you again for that. My question today was that you mentioned in the during the session that it's always good to give a personalized thank you note after the interview. So what I wanted to know, ma'am, is if you could elaborate a little bit on that how should we address that personalized email and what are the points that we should include there? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I'm glad that at least some points was useful for you that truly make this session worthy for all of us. And regarding your important question of personalized thank you letter, for example, you are spending around 15 to 20 minutes with that particular interviewer. So during that time, take a note that which things you have discussed, right? Maybe you have talked about any particular training. You have talked about any of your strength, weakness. You have shared that why you want to come to the program. And then secondly, you definitely will ask some question, at least 1 or 2 questions to that interviewer, right? So that is giving you a lot of information from that interview time. So keep a mental note. You do not always have to write down everything. However, you can take maybe 2 or 3 mental notes that, okay, when I talked with Dr. Hawk, we talked about, okay, why I want to come to IM, or why I choose, why I'm applying this year, or what happened. Those 2 or 3 points you can just mention in that thank you note. And the thank you note, I will divide into 3 paragraphs. First, I will thank them that, okay, you took the interview, thank you. In second, like the body of the email should be that 2 or 3 point. So that being said, maximum 3 lines, not more. Nobody has time to read that big email. And the third or the conclusion should come again, expressing your interest for the program, thanking them, and express that, okay, how much you want to join this program. So in a nutshell, personalized thank you letter means 2 to 3 points from that 15 to 20 minutes interview session.
Thank you, ma'am.
You are welcome.
Actually, I have another question.
Yes, please.
But I can wait until another person has question.
You can wait. You can. There's no
hello.
one waiting. You can ask question.
Hello.
Dr. Bassett, yes, sorry, Dr. Bassett, please.
Thank you, everyone, for arranging a great session. So I wanted to know about the attire. So what is the standard attire for male doctors? I know you talked about the female doctors. So should we have to wear a suit or a tie, or is it just enough to wear a formal shirt?
Great question, because like the dress code, it's always professional. So I will highly recommend to wear suit. That being said, that, okay, you have to completely wear the pant and shoes, because they are definitely just only saying this much. So as long as that much is polished, it will be fine. So you can, for male candidate, definitely Dr. Hassan will be much more like expert to advise on that. So from my side, when I am the interviewer, personally, as well as I saw that all the time male candidates, they are wearing like the suit, the blazer. You do not have to wear the tie. I did not see any of them. If you want, make sure it's not so many, block and stripe, solid color tie. And if you are wearing glass, which I see you are not, just to remind who is wearing, make sure it's like anti-reflective coat is there. Truly, so wearing coat will be, I believe, more than enough, because this much side, like from your face to trunk, they are saying.
Thank you.
However, here I would like to share one thing. One day I was preparing for a virtual interview through a local TV station. So the journalist, she's an American female. So she told me that personally, when she does this virtual interview, she always makes sure to wear a like professional shoe, because that give her mental boost up that, okay, she's ready, or that give her the vibe that, okay, she's like professionally ready. So that was her tips. Sometimes I follow, sometimes I don't.
Okay, yeah, great.
Thank you, Dr. Farzana. I agree with Dr.
You are
Farzana.
welcome.
You really should wear a suit at least to give a good impression, because that's one impression. You'll get this 10 minutes of interview that you can make your impression.
And I have another question. Will we be doing a follow-up session with interview questions and their answers?
Yes, so we will have more session coming on with the interview skills. I will let you know and then post it accordingly. Hopefully in the next month or this month sometime.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Dr. Elias, you had some question before. Yes, my first question is as follows. We have for IM we have 7 signals, and the signals starting last year. For her is for me to choose which 7 I should give my signals, and any suggestion from you which programs I should give signals. And the programs I do not give signals, how should I communicate with them so that I can expect an interview from them?
So this is a very important question, and truly, I believe that this is a great way both for program as well as for interview candidates to shortlisted that okay truly which programs or which area you want to go. So couple of points you may consider when you are shortlisting your program. First, depending on your scores, your visa status. So for that, you have to truly thoroughly research the program. For example, if somebody has, I know now like the step one is pass and fail. However, for step two, for example, a candidate has 210. And if that candidate is giving signal to the program where they start from 250, it will not gonna work. So when choosing the program to give the signal, find out that okay, who is taking IMG, who is taking that year of graduation cutoff, who is taking that score. So that could be one way to screen out. Secondly, your personal preference, where you want to go. For example, when I was choosing the program, first of all, I had no visa, so I wanted to go whoever take me. At the same time, even if that much challenging situation, I wanted to avoid very cold area. That was solely my personal preference. So you can choose according to the weather. Maybe if you have like the family, the loved one, you can choose that as well. And then another consideration, you may sound like that may sound very simple, but the training could be very important point. For example, public transport or other resources. Like in New York, if you're doing residency in New York, New Jersey, you do not need to learn to drive. However, when I came for residency, because this is a republic state, so the headache was that okay, now I have to learn driving, otherwise I cannot move, because I moved from a major city and there I had no car, there was no headache for driving. However, now I need to learn, otherwise I have to give up my residency training. So all this simple stuff maybe sounds simple, but those are as much as you can, if you analyze it, try to find out that truly which category is fitting for you. That will be much easier transition for you during the residency.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Dr. Sadia, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Sadia Shiraj. I will be a residency applicant this year for internal medicine. So I would like to first thank you, Dr. Farjana Haq, for giving her valuable advice on interview process. And I would also like to mention that I am a regular follower of her YouTube channel, and I really appreciate the time and effort she's giving to make all those useful videos. I really appreciate that. Now, my question is regarding the ERAS application. So Dr. Farjana Haq already mentioned that it's always the best, it's always good to send a thank you letter after interview. My question is, what would be your thought about sending an interest email before applying to any program? Do you think it would make a big difference if I send an email before applying to the program, to the program coordinator, stating that I'm really interested in your program, I will be applying to your program, I really like your program for this reason? Do you think that it would make a difference, or what? I just want to know your thoughts on this topic.
First of all, Dr. Shiraj, thank you for your kind words. I'm so flattered and so humble, and thank you for for your support. And truly, audience like you make the effort truly valuable for sharing all those in the YouTube channel. So 2 points I would like to share from your important question. First, I will highly advise you to send thank you letter to each interviewer after your interview. The reason being is that because you never know who will like you. Sometimes maybe people are, very nice. The interview is getting extremely well, but maybe that interviewer did not prefer that candidate to highly recommend or match. So you never know who will speak for you. So please make sure you are sending thank you letter to all the interviewer as well as to the program coordinator. Because sometimes we may forget about program coordinator. Program coordinators, program manager, they are always working closely with the physicians, with the PD, with the APD. So please acknowledge their hard work as well. And the second part of the question is that should a candidate or applicant send an email to the program before applying? I should say, if this is a program you truly want to go, why not? Because it's an email, it's not harming them. You are truly sharing your interest, that why you want to come. The tips will be keep it brief, keep it personal. Again, rather than generic email, these people, they are smart. They are getting this email for a couple of years. So if you truly want to send an email, make it personal. Make sure that, okay, you are including that program name, maybe 2 to 3 points, why that program, and then send that email. If you truly want to see yourself matching in that program, I will say, yeah, go for it. Dr. Hassan, if you have any input anytime, please always share.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Farzana. Actually, I mean, one thing is that I feel that some of the programs that when I went for the interview, sometimes not everyone shared their email. So don't forget to ask for the email at the end of the interview. If they don't give you the email address, ask the coordinator for the email. Sometimes if they don't share the email, you can always go to their website and then you can find their email. Also, please write it down, because you will face so many interviews and maybe there will be more than one person taking your interview. So please write their name so that you can remember when you come home, and you can you don't forget to write thank you email.
That's an excellent point. Thank you for emphasizing that. And thank you, Dr. Shiraj, for your wonderful question and kind words.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Farjana Haq, for giving me your valuable opinion.
It's my pleasure.
Dr. Farjana, I have actually one question for you.
Yes, please.
So the thing is that right now with the COVID pandemic, it was all virtual before. You work in a big academic hospital. How do you see the current, the coming interview session? Will it be virtual or will it be all in person?
That's a great question. Thank you for emphasizing that, Dr. Hassan. So it will be 100% virtual, and truly ACGME is recommending, because I'm also I'm the acting internship co-director. So I'm part of that ADPRE, Facebook group, as well as all those like their society group chat. So this is the ACGME requirement to keep it all virtual. And I believe, program get benefited as well. It is cutting down their time, cutting down their cost. And truly, I wish when I was the candidate, it would be virtual, because it's so much easier than traveling, purchasing the ticket, purchasing the hotel. So for this year, both residency and fellowship, 100% virtual.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
great
much.
point.
Is anyone has any more question?
I believe there is a question in the chat which was directed to me. LOR for IM, can we use letters from psychiatry +2 LOR for IM? So thank you for this important question. So we can divide it into 2 sections. First, if you are applying for IM and that's the letter you have, absolutely, yeah, go for it. On the other hand, if you are applying for IM, psychiatry, or any other specialty, and if you have 4 letters, maybe 3 from that specialty and other from the other specialty, I will recommend you to give the LOR from the same specialty, unless you know that, okay, that other program is LOR is extremely strong. then it is different case. Otherwise, I would personally, prefer to have all the letters from the same specialty, because it gives signal that, okay, this candidate is truly invested, giving so much time to work for this particular specialty and is passionate about it. And I think, passion for a specific field truly goes a long way.
Hello, Dr. Hawk. Thank you so much for this great session. I really appreciate it. It is really informative for me. So I have a question regarding LOR. I rotated in a ICU in a hospital near my home. So I was here for 4 months and I got 3 LOR from the same department from 3 different physicians. But I know they will really write a good LOR for me. So I'm really confused if I should assign these 3 LOR in for programs, or should I include the LOR from other rotations I had? I mean, my question is, like, should I mix match all LORs from other rotations, or just to, put all 3 LORs that I got from 3 physicians here? Should I put these 3 in my application? Thank you.
First of all, thank you for your kind words. It's definitely means a lot to me. You brought a very good question that, okay, should all the letter be submitted from the same program? So we can divide this into 2 steps. First, when you are selecting all the LORs for that specific program from where you got 3 letters, I will keep as it is, because it gives the signal to the program director and other faculty that, okay, you already know this program, the physicians from this program know you, so definitely go for it. So then the question is, what about other programs? So for other programs, if you have like letter where it shows that, okay, you worked for long time or you worked at other hospital, I will mix match for other program, because it gives signal that, okay, you have worked at multiple hospitals, you have worked with multiple people, and definitely variety and training boost up your application credibility. So for other program, I will mix. However, for that particular program, maybe I will use all those 3.
Thank you so much.
If you
I
have
really
input,
appreciate.
you can add as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hawk, for your great suggestion. I really appreciate it. And I have another one. So I have an LOR from our family medicine program. So that program has residency. So I mean that hospital program, but I'm not applying for family medicine. I'm applying in internal medicine. So should I also include that LOR to other programs, as this hospital, Universities of Louisville Hospital, so it's a good hospital. So do you think that should I include that LOR to my other programs that are not in Louisville or Kentucky? Because it's a good program and it has residency there. That's why I thought maybe this, as this is a good program, should I include this LOR to my other programs? But I am also confused because this is the family medicine. The program, the attendant is family medicine attendant. So I was confused about that fact, that should I include family medicine LOR to internal medicine? Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. So first, to clarify, do you have any other LOR, or you have this is your last option?
No, I have other LOR from internal medicine, and I have this one from family medicine as well. But I'm applying just in family medicine, just in internal medicine. I'm sorry.
Okay. So is the LOR writer mentioning that you are applying for internal medicine? You made it clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, if this is the situation, and definitely this is a tertiary center, so that's a good LOR to have. And family medicine and internal medicine, truly, it's like, a lot of intersection. They have a lot of common ground. And sometimes I give lecture to family medicine residents as well. I've never been trained in family medicine. So if you believe that that physician will be able to make a specific comment that, okay, you are applying to IM and you worked with family medicine, you have learned so many things, and then you will be able to apply to that IM. And at the same time, if you want to use that letter, because this is a big organization, I believe that will be completely fine to me, because there are a lot of intersection between family medicine and IM.
Got it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome.
I'd like to add one thing, like if you have a good letter of recommendation from a big university hospital or it's a big organization, please feel free to add it because it means a lot. Suppose if you have some LOR from a private practice physician, and you have some family physician who we work with in a university hospital, better choose from the university hospital or who is an academic hospital. So
thank you so much.
Doesn't have to be from the same specialty. But also the other thing is that suppose if you are doing observership now in internal medicine, but you have practice experience working in emergency medicine or any other field for 3 years, and you work with someone very closely, it doesn't hurt to add that LOR because that person will write that he worked with you for 2 or 3 years. That means a lot.
Got it. Thank you so much, Dr. Hassan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I echo with Dr. Hassan because, academic center LOR definitely put more weight, all the respect, who are working in, private field. But remember, when you are in your residency, you are working in the hospital setting. So I echo with Dr. Hassan, but they put it more weight because they know that you are already familiar with that setting.
Thank you, Dr. Hawk.
You are welcome.
Dr. Farzana, I would like to add one thing if you
Yes,
please. So one thing is that please practice. I mean, the thing that you have learned today, please do the practice. You can make a buddy system with your family member or with any of the colleague, but do practice. The real interview should not be the first time you are answering all this question. So you should practice answering all these common questions that will be asked in the interview session. And then we'll have some more session coming up, like what to do, what not to do during the interview session, and what are the common questions. But please practice and practice so that you can answer all these questions and answer like very confidently.
I echo that. It's very important.
You can also make a video. Suppose if you are, you can ask someone to make a video of yourself so that you can know what you should do next time. How you look at the video later on to see what you should do. How is the light exposure? How is everything? What you should correct next time. Any other question? If there is no other question, maybe we will conclude the session. So thank you, Dr. Farzana, for spending your valuable time and explaining all the details with us. Personally, I learned a lot today. And then I think that I'm definitely confident that these are very helpful for our residency applicants. And please practice and practice and ask more, practice all the common questions that will be asked in the interview session. Get prepared for this. Don't go unprepared. Okay, because this is the interview session is only for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That's your chance to prove yourself and then stand out from all other interview candidates. Okay. And anything also, don't forget to ask question. There will be all the, after everything, there will be a question, like if you have any question, feel free, prepare your question. What question are you going to ask? Don't ask question, what will be my salary? Make a good question that you are prepared to ask. Okay. And so I think that will be all. If there is no other question, we may conclude the session. Thank you everyone for joining this session today. I know it's a Labor Day weekend. Dr. Farzana, I can't appreciate enough how thankful I am that on this Labor Day weekend, you are giving us the time for this wonderful session.
Thank you so much for this invitation. I truly enjoyed all of your participation and engagement. Thank you so much, Dr. Hassan, for taking your valuable time. I know you are on call, so much, busy shift. So thank you. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you. All the best for the interview applicants. Best wishes for you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You are welcome.